Hello everybody, welcome to Bitcoin Daily, 9 a.m. Central European Time on the dollar. We do this show every day, Monday to Friday, because we gotta know what's happening in Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything else. Guys, unfortunately, small time frames, do look a little bit bearish, but those are only small time frames. So we're gonna watch, did we break towards downside? Did we do the move that, we are fearing that we might do? Did we break the important support levels that I'm always talking about? And we're also gonna look at a little bit bigger time frames. I'm gonna show you very convincing arguments for why we are doing exactly what we are supposed to be doing, and this is gonna continue towards upside. So interesting day today, definitely. So over here on the daily time frame, you'll see right now that let's go up here on another chart. We are still above the support levels, 10-20 moving average. We did move towards downside. The 4-hourly time frame yesterday that we hoped it might actually continue towards upside went down and created a lower low on the chart. So we are in some kind of short-term downtrend over here. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna analyze the short-term time frames as well, but we're gonna look at weekly time frames over here, what's happening right now, and we're gonna look at 2 weeks time frame. Is this actually bullish or bearish? This doji here at the top that's closing in 3 days. So we're gonna check that out. How's everybody doing in the chat? Good morning everybody. What's up? The Center Plan, how you doing, man? What's up? Linda, good morning from UK. New moon today. It's not new, it's full new moon today, and the market's dumping. Just added to my bags. Linda, you're gonna love Crypto Tips. If you're not following that channel, you should definitely follow Crypto Tips channel. Firstly, hit the like button. Nice. Linda is always gent. Linda knows what's up. She's just waiting for 2025. Big up those bridge bags. Gort, again bearish. Gort is a very good indicator of the market sentiment. Every time Gort is bearish, market is bearish. Every time Gort is bullish, market is bullish. So the fact that Gort is bearish means that market is, market sentiment is bearish, and that we might actually pop towards upside. Gort, nice to see you here. Job numbers tomorrow. We don't care about numbers. Don't read the news, read the charts, guys. Read the charts. Yes, true, may drop a bit lower, but I'm holding long term, so I'll just keep adding all the way down if it goes that way. One way to do that. Losing money is unacceptable. No volume. No volume means we are coming to the end of the consolidation. I've been telling you people this for a long time. This is on Binance. The reason why the volume was up so high up here, the volume started going up very high up here on Binance, and the reason this actually happened is because Binance had this policy of no fees. So the Binance volume went up, skyrocketed up here, so there was no fees on Binance. But right now they introduced fees again, and right now you cannot buy cheap. If you look here on some other exchange where it didn't have no fees, the volume is it's low, but it's normally low. It's not like Binance up here. Binance up here exploded because of the no fees promo, but once the accumulation phase was done, they introduced fees again. But if you look here on for example on KuCoin, the volume is actually a lot higher up here in this part over here than it was over here. So technically the volume is going towards upside, technically speaking, right? So we had a very low volume, higher volume up here. So volume is rising towards upside as we are climbing. You can see this on the chart, right? Let's go to the weekly time frame up here a little bit. How can we do this? Like over here, these stops up here. Let's just remove everything from charts. This stops up here, and then there was a little bit higher volume on this candle up here right now. During consolidation phases, the volume should go down, and that's very normal. Any kind of consolidation phase, guys, do have lower volume. That's normal. What you don't want to see is a big move towards downside with a higher volume going towards upside, or a big move towards upside where the volume is going towards downside. That's actually bad, right? So that's the volume analysis. But any kind of consolidation phases should have volume going towards downside. It's quite normal. It's quite normal stuff, and there is nothing worrisome about that. Daily time frame still holding above 20 moving average, which is very nice. Volume S&P is better indicator. Now, S&P right now and stuff is hit some kind of top up here. it's, you know, consolidating here at the top. It might pull back down. DXY hit some kind of bottom, it might pull back up here, so we're gonna see that. The big question is, did Bitcoin do that? Is Bitcoin gonna go towards the downside? So we want to know, you know, whether Bitcoin is gonna go towards the downside. So where are we gonna start? We're gonna start on a 4-hourly time frame up here on the charts, and what we're gonna see here on the charts is that yesterday, after this you know, move towards upside up here, after the first initial dump towards downside, because we did break very important level towards upside up here, it went something like this over here, right? That was the trend line that we really liked breaking towards upside. We had 2 dodges up here and then right back down again over here below the support levels. There is a trend line over here which goes something like this up here. I think it's creating right now this you know, maybe it's even lower down here, something like this over here. You can see up here, technically we are still in this triangle up here, but we are in triangle below the moving averages, so it doesn't look that good, you know. We are on the support levels right now, down here on the support levels, and we still need to get back up here above here again. But over here you can assume this is some kind of, you know, spring, you know, some kind of fake out where they're trying to gather, you know, enough forces to break this towards downside. So if this does break towards downside, it might be bad. On the other hand, if this support does hold, if these levels do so hold down here and we bounce off this again above the line up here, I would say we are super bullish and everything is good and dandy. Everything's good and dandy. So right now, the small time frames, on the 4-hour time frames, we are still in the you know, last part of the triangle up here. We are coming very close, you know, very close to the ending of the triangle. I don't think we are going to go all the way to the April before, you know, before we break out to one other side. The breakout will happen very soon, either over here towards downside, or we will do some kind of magic and break again towards upside above these highs up here and go towards upside. This is just a short-term analysis. So, you know, what we are looking right now, you know, short-term, whether this is gonna, you know, go down or up, is we are looking at this part over here, this triangle over here happening, whether this breaks towards downside or towards upside. This is the most important part on the short-term, you know, short-term scale. On the daily time frame over here, you'll see that we are still holding above 10-20 moving average over here, and there is nothing wrong with the chart. Over here, there is also, of course, this trend over here that we can technically go all the way down to 27.5, 27.6. Give or take up here on the downside, and we will still technically be above these you know, lower weeks over here towards the downside, which is very nice. You can also, I think, make some kind of a triangle up here out of these levels up here, something like this. This actually broke towards the downside. This actually failed, but over here maybe there is some kind of triangle up here, but it's also look like this 4-hourly triangle. Still, the 20 moving average up here, very important level, moving average, very important level of support, still didn't break towards downside. The central plant 599. Ooh, super chairs. Why are people posting super chairs in the bear market? I don't get it. I don't get it. Gold does well in a recession where stocks do bad. Could you analyze correlation between Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Nasdaq, so we know what Bitcoin will do when S hits the F? Yeah, Bitcoin versus gold. Is there a Bitcoin to gold analysis? You know, is there a Bitcoin to Nasdaq, so we know? Could you correlation between Bitcoin and gold? Wait, what's up, man? Yeah, we might check it out after the thing that I want to show on Bitcoin. Thanks for $6, man. I appreciate it. Super chats in the bear market, unbelievable. Okay, guys. Okay, so on the daily time, we just on a 4-hourly time frame, we got this triangle that we are looking at. We are still not out of the triangle, so it's a little bit, you know, too early to talk about, you know, bearish. It's a little bit too early to talk about where did we put line? It's a little bit too early to talk about any kind of bearish sentiment just yet. It doesn't look, you know, on the support levels, on the lows, there are always most, you know, people are always most bearish when you get to support, because if you break those support levels, you know, you're going down, you know, shit hits the fan, right? Over here at 16k, 15k, you know, people are most bearish, because if you break that, you're going down to 10k, right? So always on any kind of support level, people will become, you know, very bearish, right? So over here we are failing to go higher up here on small time frames. We are, you know, doing this rejection up here. We are looking to break this towards the downside. If it does break towards the downside on the small time frames, we are looking for a pullback. On the pullback, we still have certain levels down here of the support. that we need to break. That's, you know, something like 16.8 or something like that. So, you know, even on the small time frames, there are still levels that needs to be broken for us to become, you know, genuinely, you know, overall bearish. On the other hand, we could assume right now that this is gonna break towards downside over here and become short-term bearish, and that's that. Yesterday with that stream, you know, we said no emergency, nothing urgent is happening, and nothing urgent is happening just yet, but it does look a little bit bad. Now, I am not, you know, master, you know, technical analysis scientist, whatever, right? You know, chart analyst. So I could be wrong on this thing over here. Maybe the hopium inside me is hoping, looking for answers, looking for, you know, reasons for why we should go towards upside. But it is important to understand that this thing, you know, could definitely be at some kind of top. So let me, before I show you the very bullish things on the chart, before I show you the hopium, before I show you why we are in the bull market, let me show you first the reason why we can actually dump down here. So let's do that first. And over here you'll see right now that on the day, this is today time. Let's go to the daily time frame. To the daily time frame up here, we are right now sitting at some kind of, you know, 28, 29 levels. 29 levels, and here just above us between 30k and 32k, I won't go into, you know, 32k, just above us up here is a major resistance level, 30 to 32k, major resistance level. And I said if we go up to 30 to 32k, we are not gonna stop over here and go down. The reasons being because everybody wants to short this level. I think we are gonna just go above that and you know, create some kind of top above here. But that means that we first need to get into 30, 32 levels and then go above that. I don't think we are gonna, you know, we are gonna create some kind of top at around the 32k level, 29, 30k level. Sorry, I don't think we're gonna create some kind of top up here and then go down, because everybody and their grandmother wants to short this level. And what do we always say on this channel? Oftentimes when you go to certain levels and you know that everybody is looking at some level, everybody and their grandmother is looking at some level, oftentimes you don't get to those levels. So right now we are sitting at this 29,000. We've seen somebody, some, you know, people, you know, turning bullish right now, looking at 30 to 32k. We've seen, you know, people, you know, changing a little bit, you know, getting a little bit more bullish. Yeah, it can go to 32. So everybody's looking for this last move towards the upside to 32 to 32k, so they can short these levels. But important thing to note again is that oftentimes when everybody wants these levels, you never get those levels. So you come very, very close, but you just don't go into those levels. You know, selling already starts over here, flips down, and then goes on the downside, right? So that's the you know, bearish narrative. So right now, well, we could definitely be in some kind of, over here, this definitely looks like the distribution phase up here. It did break certain levels up here. It is breaking certain, you know, momentums over here. So it can definitely fall down over here. And I'm saying that this over here just as well might be some kind of top. Some kind of time. I'm keeping bullish because levels are not broken just yet. So I'm giving it time a little bit more until we actually break to say that, you know, I am bearish. But what I'm trying to say is that this could be the top. I could be wrong, you know, everybody could be wrong. This might not happen. The times are a little bit different around. This could go down, but you know, it's important to know that, you know, a lot of other people might be right on the bearish narrative. This might actually turn towards downside over here. I definitely see other signs that, you know, there is weakness in price. This move down up here, this move towards upside. There is a trend line up here that goes, that actually already broke right now. It's just consolidating up here before the next move towards downside. So I am still keeping, you know, giving it a chance to, you know, go above these levels. But it's important to notice this over here can actually indeed, in fact, be the top. Now, if this is the top, and you know, the big question is how much down, you know, we're gonna go after that. How much down we're gonna go after that? Are we just gonna have a small pullback over here, down here, and then continue towards upside? Is this gonna go back down to 10k? You know, God knows what's gonna happen after that. But could this be the top right now? You know, some kind of local top over here before we do one of these big moves towards the downside over here? Definitely can. Is it gonna be the case that if we do pull down, that we are gonna just have a, you know, a dip down and right back up again like we had the previous two times over here? It could be the case, but it could also be the case that, you know, the third time it just does this and continues towards the downside. So there is, you know, the dip keeps on dipping, right? That could be the case as well. So how this is gonna play out, you know, I think we need to look at a little bit bigger pictures and what's gonna happen next. So why am I so bullish? So the thing is that I'm not just keeping Hopium up because, you know, I want the price to go up without any kind of believing. You know what faith is? Faith is believing something without any kind of proof or underlying science to support the thing that you are believing in, right? So sometimes you believe something is gonna happen, but you cannot explain it. You don't have anything to show for it. You don't have any proof or anything. That's faith, right? So oftentimes we have faith in Bitcoin is gonna go up, but oftentimes you don't have anything to back it up with, right? And right now I'm not completely, you know, on faith on Bitcoin. I just have faith it's gonna bump up. I actually have some kind of chart I'm gonna show you that are telling me right now that everything is normal. The pullback might happen, the, you know, consolidation down might actually happen, but overall we are in a very strong bullish trend. So let me show you that. So if you go up here on the weekly time frame, what we're gonna see here is that after this move above, you know, 25k levels up here, let me just remove the moving average. No, we're gonna keep moving averages. This big candle up here, we have these three dojis up here right now, and they are still consolidating. Now this consolidation is very important because the price pumped from the bottom to top something like 45%, and consolidations are very much needed. So you need time for these moving averages to, you know, come a little bit towards the upside, and once they do that, you know, the price can actually continue towards the upside. You also see this kind of consolidation in 2019 over here when we did break the very important level up here. We did the big candle towards the upside. What happened up here? It happened, you know, these three dojis. They are not actually dojis up here. With a red candle, green candle, and a small green candle up here, and then we continue towards the upside, right? A lot of people might think this is the case again, and it is gonna happen. You know, it's gonna happen again or the same way. It doesn't have to happen, but it does look the same. There is a consolidation period down here, accumulation period. You have a big, you know, shortest capitulation candle up here, and then you have this, you know, zigzag pattern because this moving average is just so far down, and then you continue towards upside and increase the, you know, speed of the moving average is after you, right? So over here, what's happening right now is, you know, kind of the same thing. You had this 25k level, you bounced out of that 25k level. You have a consolidation phase up here, and right now, even this pullback, even this candle up here becomes a little bit red or something like that. I still believe right now that this might actually continue based on the previous action that we have done before. So this does look, in fact, you know, nice, and everything is working, you know, as it should. Also on the weekly time frame, there is no signs of, you know, yes, we are getting these dojis up here at the top. It might be some kind of top up here, but we are still above all moving averages. We are still above this major level of resistance up here at 25k. So if you want to see any kind of, you know, 15k again, or 10k or 20k, you gotta go back below 25k. That means going below 200 moving average. That means go below 10k average. That means even going below this 50 and the 22 50 and the 20 moving average on the downside over here, because that's at the 20 that's at 21 22k levels, right? So you need to dump pretty much a lot towards downside to lose everything. And these are weekly time frame. These are major support levels that if you break these, you are extremely bearish, right? You break these highs up here, you are extremely bearish. You break the, you know, you break the 200 moving average, you should be bearish again, because you don't want to go back below the 200 moving average, just back above it, right? 15 and the 20 moving average down here at 22k. You know, we got a major support levels that we can actually bounce off, that can actually hold us, right? But breaking, you know, going back below 22k, you know, that would be actually very, very terrible. That'd be very, very terrible. But right now we are above everything, so it's real hard for me to, you know, just become bearish, because, you know, 4 hourly is sitting on support and it might break down and this might be the top. Yes, it might be the top, but overall, you know, in the greater scheme of things, we are not actually that bearish. We are not actually that bearish. Yes, we believe that it might dump down. Yes, you know, if Bitcoin goes down 1%, altcoins might go down 5% and stuff like that, right? And altcoins might bleed, but, you know, nothing has changed with this move towards the upside. It's still in full effect. And right now, we've been talking about, you know, also on the MACD. Let me show you up here on the MACD. We've been talking about this midline up here, that once we start crossing the midline on the MACD, and you can see up here that the orange line is crossing the midline up here, and it is still pushing towards the upside up here. So this can, of course, definitely turn around for some reason up here, go towards the downside. We might do this fake out towards the downside over here. But right now we are actually crossing, and we are actually confirmed crossing the midline up here towards the upside. But if you look back in time, the weekly time frame has actually been kind of flaky before over here. Over here on the downside, we crossed it towards downside and just turned towards upside. Then we crossed towards upside and we turned towards downside over here again. So this was some kind of, you know, zigzag pattern up here that happened, you know, above the, you know, around the midline. That didn't actually play the way we actually expect to play. Over here as well, there has been a fake out. Where has been a fake out up here? No, there has not been a fake out up here, you know, before. Let me see here in the before up here. No, so on the weekly time frame, every time we cross the zero line, every time we cross the zero line beside the Corona dump, you know, consolidation phase up there, every time is out of this accumulation zone. Once we cross the zero line, we actually had a big pumps, right? So this was in 2015 over here. This is 2017, and you'll see that as well over here. Once we crossed it up here, over here, you know, we had consolidation up here, but you know, we started going towards the upside. So the zero line on the weekly time frame is very, very important, right? And over here we crossed the zero line as well right now, and we are you know, hoping this is going to continue. But over here, as you can see up here, during just before the Corona dump up here again, when we had this pullback towards downside, we start curving towards upside, doing this fake up, but then Corona pushed us down. And I still believe if the Corona did not happen, this would have just gone something like this over here. I think this was over here, that was the bottom, because we went down here and then we came right back outside of that again, and then, you know, we had this black swan event right back down again, right? So that's what happened over here. But overall, once you're above or below these, you know, zero line on the MACD on the weekly time frame, you should technically be, you know, bullish or bearish depending whether you're below or above. Now, the last thing I'm gonna show you is the 2 weekly time frame and the MACD, guys. Now, the 2 weekly time frame, we bounced off of the 10-20 moving average up here. We are going towards the 50. We are not actually reaching this major resistance level right now. And the major resistance level is between 31 and 33k, and we are right now close to those levels, but we haven't hit those levels. And you can see up here, this is pretty much on the 2 weekly time frame, empty space over here. This is empty space. So going, you know, above this, you know, 24, 25k level to something 31, 33k level to the 50 moving average up here. There is still, you know, half the way to go left if you're gonna hit those important resistance, because right now we are not actually hitting any kind of resistance level. There might be some kind of trend line over here that I haven't, you know, looked at. Let me see up here. Might be some kind of, you know, resistance level that we are hitting up here on some kind of trend line, but overall this is this is empty space. Now, the MACD on the 2 weekly time frame is actually quite interesting, guys. The 2 weekly MACD is actually very, very interesting. What you're gonna see here is over here, just when we started dumping down here, you know, towards downside, we crossed the zero line up here, and then right now we are moving towards the upside up here, but we are still not above the, you know, above the zero line on the MACD. Now let me show you what happened before, because that's how we analyze these things. Over here, you will see that right over here, once we started dumping down into the capitulation up here, we crossed the zero line. But once we came out of the, you know, this is you know, zero line, we are outside that, you know, accumulation period and outside the move, right? So, but, you know, once this 2 weekly is outside of the, you know, on the upper side of the zero line, we are pretty much, you know, pretty much done with the bottom, right? The bottom is pretty much done. The same thing goes over here, as you'll see over here. We started going down inside the accumulation zone over here. That's when we crossed the zero line. And once we came out of the zero line up here, once we came on the upper side of the zero line up here, we're already up here at the top up here, consolidating for the next move towards the upside. So these bottoms down here do indicate that we are at, you know, in some kind of, you know, reversal towards the upside, a reversal towards the upside. Right now, we are still not outside up here yet, but what I'm gonna show you is that the bottom is in. You will see that every time this happens, the move up here after this, you know, after this cross over here starts happening, we are pretty much going towards the upside. We are pretty much going towards the upside. Let's see up here. Where is the? There we go. We are pretty much going towards the upside. Let me just zoom in really nice up here. So what you're gonna see here, this zero line up here, zero line. Where is zero line? Sorry, this crossover. Once this cross happens on the bottom, we are pretty much all the way through going towards the upside. This is very bullish. This is 2019. Once this cross happen on the 2 weekly, we start, you know, pumping towards the upside. It's pretty much done. That's pretty much indicates the bottom up here. This is some kind of fake out and we continue towards the upside. That's pretty much indicates the bottom. The same thing happened in 2019 up here. You'll see up here. 2019. We had the cross up here. We had the cross right over here, give or take. You see up here on the bottom down here. And as soon as we started going towards upside, we got this cross and we continue towards upside. What you're also gonna notice that this line never crosses back below zero line. Yes, we do have a pullbacks, but it never crosses below zero line. And right now over here, we did have the cross. We did have the cross up here, right here on the bottom. And as soon as it started going towards upside, we already changed direction towards upside. So 2 weekly time frame. And look at, if you look at a MACD, the MACD never actually crosses after going up above the zero line in the bull markets, never crosses back below the zero line. So we are still technically below the zero line, but once this actually crosses above it, it will never go back again. And this is also very, very bullish. Let me just zoom in a little bit up here. You can see up here as well. Once you cross the zero line towards upside, you never go back below zero line until you actually get into that this bear market entry. So 2 weekly MACD time frame, can give us indication right now that this was some kind of bottom over here. This was some kind of bottom, and right now we are doing this move towards upside where we're gonna get above. I mean, this can take, of course, a lot of time, but you know, it can 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe two, you know, couple of months left. You know, 2, 3 more months, and then you're outside of this, you know, zero line over here. Then you continue in, you know, the bull market towards the upside, right? But it does indicate, you know, give us some kind of confidence that this might have been some kind of bottom down here, and we might actually get out of it. So as you can see right now, 2 weekly time frame, weekly time frame, these big time frames, we are looking good on these time frames. There is no problem with these big time frames. The problem is right now on these small time frames. When you zoom in on this part over here, when you zoom in very, very hard, you know, the problem comes up here. What's going to happen next? We are in a triangle. We are holding the support levels. Are we going to break towards upside or downside? You know, over here on the daily time frame, there is important level of support up here. This is daily, you know, support level 20 moving average. We don't want to lose that. Also, this previous low, we don't want to create, you know, low. We don't want to create over here low and higher low, and then create a lower low down here as well. You know, we don't want to do that. So we don't want to break these support levels. So if you go to the 4-hour time frame, then we get this triangle that's happening up here on the 4-hourly, and the triangle goes something like this up here from the what we can conclude up here, give or take. Something like this. Maybe it's a little bit more skewed up here. Maybe something like this over here, give or take. This looks nice enough. So this looks symmetrical. So we're gonna use this one. It looks nice. Now you can see right now we are definitely on the support levels. We are right now sitting on the support over here. We are on these support levels. This is definitely a long position over here. But if it does break down a little bit below, you know, 27.78, start closing down here on the 4-hourly time frame below 27.7, starts closing down here below 27.7, give or take. You know, if it starts closing over here, there's definitely looks a little bit bad, and we can definitely have this move towards the downside. But it's only on the small time frames. On the bigger time frames, we don't have any kind of problems. Everything looks good and dandy. But it takes time. It takes time. Now, for the dead center plane, Bitcoin gold analysis, you know, correlation and stuff like that. First of all, Bitcoin gold. Is there anything in BTC gold? BTC gold versus Tether. What kind of chart is this? I don't know. Let's see Bitcoin USDT up here. And then we're gonna remove the moving averages for a second up here, and we're gonna add gold up here. Gold chart up here. Gold chart kind of looks the same though. Let's change the gold chart into something else. Candles, so you can see the candles. Candles are easier to see. I don't know why candles are so. There we go. Okay. So we can see both of these charts. Let's go to bigger time frames because it really doesn't, you know, there is literally no point in correlating Bitcoin and this upper part is Bitcoin and this lower part is gold. So we can assume that over here this was some kind of bottom down here for Bitcoin, right? And after that bottom, this went into a bull market, right? And gold went into bull market as well with this correlation up here. Double top up here towards the upside, and it had this move towards the downside over here. So it does look, you know, very correlated up here with Bitcoin. And gold went up here towards the upside, you know, but it started, you know, gold started going up here from this part over here, all the way up towards the top over here. Then I had a pullback, and up. I mean, this looks like, you know, almost one-to-one correlated, Bitcoin and gold. You could say also that. So although gold did, you know, top out a lot earlier up here, it went into, you know, gold topped up here. So gold pre-pumps Bitcoin. Gold pre-pumps Bitcoin, then you know, they go from Bitcoin, they go from gold into Bitcoin up here. You see up here, this last move started up here. So gold and Bitcoin in the explosive phase actually were not correlated. So entire move up here was correlated up here. Then you had the you know, consolidation up here, and this was pretty much correlated all the way up towards over here. But when gold did this move up here, when gold did this move from the top over here to the top over here, gold did the, you know, big move from 150 to 2000, you know, did 25% move. Bitcoin just kind of went sideways over here, but when gold topped out, Bitcoin exploded towards the upside. Bitcoin exploded towards the upside over here. Now it went into this distribution phase up here, and you know, this dropped down, tried to go up here again on this move towards the upside, and then it fell down. And then they both capitulated at the same time pretty much. But it does look like, you know, Bitcoin and gold is actually correlated very nicely. All charts will look at it. You don't see correlation, all charts will look like that. You might be right. You might be right. Nasdaq. This Nasdaq chart. Nasdaq is a different chart though. We don't have there is no data up here on this scaling. Nasdaq and NDX. Is this the one? I think it's one. It is the same. Here, last part. During the bear market up here, the Nasdaq did go down up a lot up here, and then over here they had almost the same kind of, you know, pullback down, and then from the bottom over here they had the same, you know, move towards the upside up here. This was the same part up here, right? But let's and since this was, you know, big move up here for the this kind of went just up towards the upside all the way to the top. So you know, entire bull market was entire bull market, right? And when it came to the ending of this bull market up here, we had, you know, this move towards the downside over here. So you could say they're correlated, but they're not correlated, you know, move by move. But overall, from the bottom towards the top, they are kind of correlated, you know. So you can say definitely they're correlated, but they're correlated in a big, you know, in a bigger moves than you know, the small moves can fluctuate a lot more while this, you know, goes Let's try to top up here. And as this, you know, big move towards downside. Everything had a big move towards downside. This, you know, the first move. So right now, if you assume that this is on the bottom up here right now, you know, maybe, you know, finding correlation between stuff and looking, you know, what Bitcoin will do when S hits the fan. So if I would say, you know, what is gonna happen with Bitcoin when if Nasdaq and you know, S hits the fan, I would assume Bitcoin also hits the fan as well. I would assume that. Moons correlate to Nasdaq. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at moons on Nasdaq. I've just been looking at moons on Bitcoin. But I would assume that if something should happen to Nasdaq, you know, and I think that Bitcoin is also gonna go down if Nasdaq goes down. So that's just that. You know how, guys, the less coins that are in exchanges, the easier it is to manipulate the exchanges because there is less coins. So you want actually the liquidity to be high, so it's higher to, you know, push the price up and down. So I would say that the Bitcoin is right now hugely manipulated, like it should be, because, you know, market forces are coming into the play, and you know, Nasdaq, everything is manipulated, guys. You know, that's how the game works. People complain about, oh, markets are manipulated, I'm losing money. It's because they do not know how to play the game. It's, you know, people that are complaining about, you know, markets being manipulated are the same people who go into the games and calling other people hackers because they are losing. That's the correlation. So yes, markets are manipulated, they're just playing the game. That's how the game is being played. That said, Bitcoin is also highly manipulated, and it goes up and down. And I think if something should happen to Nasdaq or stock market, stuff like that, I would assume that Bitcoin is gonna follow them. Now the big question is whether Bitcoin is correlated with more correlated with the gold, or more correlated with the Nasdaq. So that's a big question, right? So again, Bitcoin haven't been in any kind of, you know, financial crisis yet. So this is gonna be its first financial crisis, and we might just find out how well it holds the price. All charts will look like that as I'm just. Okay, guys, that's it. That's it for today. Bitcoin is holding its support like a champ still. So there, you know, we got that at least for us going on right now. So hopefully the 4-hourly support does hold. True, but it takes much less money to manipulate Bitcoin and a massive thing like S&P, Nasdaq. Nah, I think you are wrong a little bit about that, because maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. The fact is, everything is manipulated. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. Watch this. You know, watch this triangle up here. It is important triangle. We like the triangle up here. I think you can pull the line up here as well. Someplace, doesn't matter. Watch the triangle. It's important triangle. We start breaking out of the triangle towards the upside or downside. You know. Then we might, you know, get to know the next move, but overall I'm still keeping bullishness, and you know, big time frames haven't shown any kind of weakness yet. So if the billionaires are not selling, I'm not selling just yet. So there is that. But you know, billionaires don't know. They have a lot of money, but they don't necessarily know. You'll see all the time billionaires lose billions of, you know, dollars, because that's how the game is being played. What's up, the Green is Goblin? Thank you for stopping by. Guys, I'll see you around. Bye-bye. That's it for me. That's it. That's the show. That's the show. That's the Bitcoin Daily. Bye-bye.